Hey everybody, it's episode 419 of PodQuest.
Hey!
It is Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. I am Chris. With me is Walnut.
Hi!
That's it. It's just him today.
Yeah, that's all I have. It's just a hi right now. I'm waking up again. I'm kind of tired, but I'm waking up. So.
Would you take a nap after work or something?
No, but I maybe should have. I don't know. I just got tired all of a sudden at like quarter of 6. I was just like, man, I'm tired.
So like 2 minutes ago?
I said quarter of 6.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said quarter after 6.
No, quarter of 6. Like a little bit before we started, before like you messaged, I was like, man, I'm tired. I could go for some coffee or something. Like yesterday I ended up getting like a coffee milkshake, which I don't really know if it actually has caffeine in it, but like it helped me get through the rest of the day. And yeah, today I'm tired again, and I don't know why.
I'm sure there's a medical reason for it.
No, it's 100%. I was up until like 1 o'clock in the morning playing Tunic last night. So,
well, stop doing that to yourself.
I wanted to beat it, and I was really close, and I didn't want to go back and play it for like 10 minutes. Like I wanted to get it done. Like that. Yeah, I'm sure you've had those feelings of like you're close. You're really close, and that's what it was. Like I technically could have beaten Tunic within the first hour of stream, but then other stuff happened, and we'll get into that later. That's called a teaser. But it's just, yeah, it was, I ended up just like pushing the envelope more and more and more, and then when I finally did go fight the final boss, it was like quarter after 12, and it still took me a while to beat it.
Yeah, that's a long night of streaming.
Yeah, not too bad.
Well, let's just get into it then. What's on the agenda?
So we're going to talk about the new Dragon Ball Super movie, Superhero, which I want to see. Then we're going to talk about...
Man, you haven't seen like the last like 6 movies. How you want to see this one?
I just want to see it. It's a superhero movie. I want to see it. Then we're going to talk about the Resident Evil show that's on Netflix, the actual, like, full-on show, live-action show, which was fine. Then Gamescom started yesterday, last night, as of recording. It was Tuesday night. Then like I said, I played and basically kind of beat Tunic, so we're going to talk about that too.
All right. Also, is that Resident Evil series really just called Resident Evil?
I believe so.
For some reason, I thought it had some sort of
No, the movie is called Welcome to Raccoon
City,
and the first episode of the show is called Welcome to New Raccoon City.
Yeah, I definitely thought this was that it had some sort of subtitle.
Nope, just called Resident Evil. As far as I remember.
I'm also just like very briefly scrolling through the Wikipedia for it. I also had no idea this show takes place in like 2 different time periods.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. About it. You're spoiling it. Spoiling my talking points.
It's good. No one wants to hear about it. Let's get it out of the way up front, right?
I mean, you should have put it up top then.
No, I want to talk about Dragon Ball.
Then let's talk about Dragon Ball.
All right. So yeah, I went on Sunday and saw Dragon Ball Superhero.
Mm-hmm.
It was fine.
Yeah, that's what I kind of expected.
Like, Broly was such a good movie. Like, I legitimately enjoyed Broly. And even, Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F. Both, like, they were good Dragon Ball movies.
I'm only one movie away, mister.
And an entire series.
That doesn't matter.
No, the movies are canon now.
I know.
So, like, yeah, if you watch Broly, you have no idea what happened in the middle.
But isn't that all just going to be on the series? Like, don't they just turn the movies into parts of the series?
So the series is over.
Yeah, right.
It has been for a couple years now. So, like, the manga is still going. And, like, they made the Broly movie manga canon by simply, like, having, like, a 2-page, like, splash of, like, hey, between the Tournament of Power and this new arc, like, Goku and Vegeta fought Broly. But this new one, Broly is in.
Okay.
Which is cool. And, it had moments.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it had a strong opening. So it opens up with like a brief little history. Like from like Dragon Ball through Super, where it shows us like stuff about like the Red Ribbon Army and how Goku beat them, and then Dr. Gero and 17 and 18, 19 and 20, and like all that. Like it kind of gives us like a 2-minute kind of like catch you up to speed sort of deal. Because this movie is about the Red Ribbon Army and how they're like them trying to come back. And the two main, like, I'm going to call them villains, are the son of General Red, who was the original head of the Red Ribbon Army in Dragon Ball, and then Dr. Giro's grandson, who is supposed to be even smarter than he is.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing they actually did that was cool, and it was like a blink and you miss it moment. They essentially canonized Dragon Ball Fighters.
Okay.
So did you ever play Fighters?
No, but that's the one where it's like everyone somehow is on the same power level some way.
Yeah, there's like a story mode that basically like explains why like Yamcha isn't just being fucking brutally murdered by everybody. But so in that game, the original villain for it is Android 21. And that's the female, the one that like she looks like a librarian scientist sort of thing, and then she looks like a Majin Buu.
Okay,
do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, you probably will when I send a picture. Android 20.
Was it ever in Dragon Ball Z?
No, but she's from Fighters, and she was very popular when the game came out.
I mean, I never played Fighters,
but it's one of those characters that I'm sure you've seen images of.
We'll see. Oh, you sent me fucking Bing link. You didn't actually send me an image.
No. I sent you literally the image results for...
Yeah, these image results, like, scroll, like, 2 down, and she's covering up her waist area with her tail, and, like...
No, I have safe search on, so I don't actually see any of those.
Oh my god. No, I do not recognize
You've never seen this character? Wow.
No.
So, that is actually supposed to be Dr. Giro's wife.
Okay.
That's how she's introduced in Fighters. And you find out that Android 16 was actually his son.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason that he like didn't like turn Android 16 on and the reason like Android 16 had such a different personality was actually because it was an android based on their son. And in Fighters, she makes a new Android 16 that doesn't have any of the memories of the one that died during the Cell games.
Mm-hmm.
And so like yeah, like there's a brief moment where like they're explaining Dr. Giro's family tree. And they show a picture of her and Android 16 that like canonicalized, or however you would say that character as part of like actual canon.
Yeah.
But like so it's like that like all that stuff was cool, like kind of like the history and like linking things together. Goku and Vegeta are not part of the movie like at all.
Good.
They set it up in the first 15 minutes. They set it up. They are both on Beerus's planet with Broly training.
With
as
Broly?
they do.
So Broly's not dead? Oh my god.
They've never killed Broly. And Broly, so this Broly is different than old Broly.
Uh-huh.
Dragon Ball Z, like non-canon Broly, his whole thing was he went Super Saiyan as a baby because Goku was crying next to him, which is the dumbest thing ever, but also very funny.
Yeah.
In this one, he was naturally that strong as a baby. Vegeta's father was uncomfortable with it and thought that they were going to overthrow him. And had him and his father exiled.
Okay.
So like, you know, after and in Broly, like minor spoilers, like Frieza's involved. Like Frieza is the reason Broly attacks Goku and Vegeta.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
even
and like
though Frieza's dead, like.
Oh no, Frieza hasn't been dead for a while.
No, because they brought Frieza back for the fucking tournament. This is why I actually don't watch Super. Because this is just too much. This has become a Marvel comic book.
I will say, like the whole Frieza thing, it actually made sense. So in the Tournament of Power, Boo was supposed to have that spot, but like they keep doing that with Boo. He is like signed up for these like tournaments, but he is frankly too powerful. Like he actually can't be easily defeated, and like he can just turn fucking people into candy and eat them, and then game over.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually, it was very funny in Super. He actually trains. He trains really hard for this tournament. And he ends up, it's still Fat Boo, but he looks like, the Boo that absorbed Gohan.
Okay.
Like, so like the muscular, like scary looking Boo. Not the, like, evil one. Just like and then he gets tired and falls asleep and no one can wake him up.
Yeah. I think I remember you saying this.
Yeah, so then it's a scramble to get the last fighter they need for the tournament, because, like, they're already kind of, like, scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like, they have Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo. So, like, you know, those four make sense. But then Android 17 and 18, because apparently, like, they can get stronger. Like, Android 17 is as powerful as Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta.
Yeah.
But then, like, they have, like, Tien and Krillin and Master Roshi.
Yeah.
The only person they don't get is Yamcha, and it's literally a joke because he's expecting them to come get him, and, like, is, like, waiting for the call, and just nobody ever comes.
You know they did that on purpose.
Oh, 100%, and it was very funny.
You know it was like, oh, we know everyone memes Yamcha, so let's just play this meme even harder.
Yeah. It was legitimately fun. They did it in like a filler episode too, where they were playing baseball, and you know the meme of Yamcha in the blown out hole from the Cybermen attack in the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
They had that happen to him again while playing baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But so because of that, they needed another fighter, and Goku has the idea to get Frieza one of those day passes that he got for the tournament back in Z.
Yeah.
So they get him a day pass, and the stipulation is if they win, the winning universe gets a wish from the Super Dragon Balls, that he would get wished back to life.
That is such a lame wish to get from a Super Dragon Ball, is to wish back fucking somebody to life that you could wish back to life using a Dragon Ball. So
I agree. The catch with the Tournament of Power, every time a universe has their final fighter eliminated, the Universal God destroys their entire universe. Like, just deletes it from existence. So the idea was, like, the final universe standing would be the only universe left.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, and they actually just, in the manga, Frieza has another new form. He is now Frieza Black. Or Black Frieza. I forget how they worded it.
Yeah, didn't they get into enough trouble with Black Goku? Like, come on now. Come on, Dragon Ball. Stop being all marble about this.
At least Frieza's, like, he pops up and he's just like, oh yeah, like, I've only really been gone for, like, a few months, but, like, I found this room where, like, I trained for 10 years in the span of a week. And, yeah, so I have 10 years of training on you assholes.
But he was in hell. Like, he
has been alive since the end of Tournament of Power.
Oh, you're saying between Tournament of Power and this movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I hate it. I hate it so. And he finds a room that makes him. He
finds a room of spirit and time. Because so they already introduced in a previous manga arc, there are more rooms of spirit and time than just the one on Kami's Lookout.
Mm-hmm.
There's, a character takes Goku to one that is not as, the time span is shorter. It's like for every day, it's only 6 months or something like that. But that's, he takes Goku there to train Goku in Ultra Instinct.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so superhero. So yeah, Goku and Vegeta are training. Their entire role in this movie is Whis tells them they're going to have a sparring match. They can't use any power-ups or blasts. So it's just like sparring. And that is why they're unavailable for the whole thing. Because Whis's, wand thing is behind them with a bucket on top, and he doesn't see it blinking while Bulma's calling for help.
Mm-hmm.
Which is okay. It's okay. Like, we don't need more of the Goku and Vegeta show.
No, we don't.
Like,
there's so many good characters in Dragon Ball that it makes sense to not force Goku and Vegeta more.
Yeah, so this was very much the Piccolo show.
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually kind of cool. My big complaint, though, is the characterizations for some of these characters is really bad. Like, Piccolo did not feel like Piccolo. Gohan only kind of felt like Gohan. And so, like, you know, like, even when Piccolo's kind of annoyed at something, he's not really boisterous about it. Like, he's still kind of, like, subdued and quiet, and he's just, like, kind of, like fuming about whatever pissed him off.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, like, he's, like, straight up, like, yelling at people, like, very, like, outrageously. And, like, it just didn't feel like Piccolo at all. And then, in every fucking arc so far, in the movies, in the show, they keep having, you know, a bad guy shows up, Gohan hasn't been training, so he can't actually keep up with them. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to start training again just so that, like, I can be ready for things.
Yeah.
And then the next arc, he stopped training again. And it's like, dude, you guys can't keep using the same fucking thing every goddamn time. Because, like, it happened during the Resurrection F, where, like, he didn't even remember how to use his actual power. He remembered how to go Super Saiyan. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it happens during the Tournament of Power. Like, he actually spends time training with Piccolo to, like, relearn how to use his power. And at that point, he is as strong as Super Saiyan Blue Goku. Like, Goku has to use the Kaioken to actually overpower him.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is, you know, it's been 3 years, I guess, because Pan is 3 in this, and she's a baby during the Tournament of Power. And, like, he forgot all of that again.
Yeah, that's just probably lazy writing, but also more of just, like, we need to make it difficult for because Gohan is the strongest character in Dragon Ball. We've already talked about it. Like you said, him just in, like, normal powered up mode is better than Blue Goku. Like,
yeah.
He is the strongest character, but they need to find a way to weaken him. And so they basically turn him into a better dad.
But that's the problem. He wasn't being a good dad either.
I mean, how could he? I mean,
Pan needed to be picked up from school. He was too busy researching ants that turn gold. So he literally had to call Piccolo to see if Piccolo could go pick Pan up from the store.
I mean,
or from school.
That's not necessarily bad dad territory.
But, like, no, like, they so Piccolo gets mad at him and basically, one of the times Piccolo yells at him is because he's constantly doing that stuff. Like,
okay.
He's constantly asking Piccolo to go pick Pan up from things and to like, basically do what he should be doing. Because it seems like Videl is actually out, like, working, like, out of the house. And... yeah, like a lot of, like, the characterization and stuff like that just didn't feel right. Especially because, like, when you see Gohan in Super with Pan, he seems like a much more attentive father. And the only time he really gets worked up is they kidnap Pan in the movie. Because they're... so the Dr. Giro's, grandson actually isn't bad. He actually really likes heroes. The bad guys basically convince him that Bulma is the head of this evil organization. And all of the Z-Fighters are aliens that she employs to help her take over Earth. So he builds the 2 androids to try and destroy all of them. And to try and get Gohan, they go kidnap Pan first.
Okay.
And, like, the only time that he gets, like, he actually shows any sort of, like, him is when, like, the bad guy shows up, like it's just a thug. And he's just like, we have your daughter. And he walks out of the house and powers up and actually, like, collapses his house into a sinkhole because he's so angry that they took his daughter.
Yeah.
But, like, beyond that, it's like, they leaned into bad comedy. Like, they used the Dragon Balls. And it was one of those where everybody else anywhere was just thinking, okay, well, you just use the Dragon Balls, you just fucking wish Goku and Vegeta to be there. If you can't call them, you just wish them to be there. Like, that's the solution to the problem. But instead of that, Piccolo asked to have his powers unlocked, the way Guru did for Krillin and Gohan back on Namek. And then they have 2 wishes left, and Bulma's like, I wish for my butt to be tighter and for my eyelashes to be longer. And then they think of we could have wished Goku back.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was dumb. Like, it was a lot of that. And then, unfortunately, the animation was also not good. Like, they did, like, a different animation style. Still scenes looked kind of okay, but the actual animation did not.
Mm-hmm.
They also used, so the big bad that happens at the end is stronger than everybody. And that's where, like, Piccolo and Gohan need to get new transformations to beat them. But they also have Goten and Trunks there, and they fuse. But it's been a while, so they have an imperfect fusion, and they fuse into Fat Gotenks.
Yeah.
And then they proceed to be comic relief for, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's always been driving, or not always, that's recently been driving me nuts about a lot of not even comedy, a lot of shows in general, is the fat people are incompetent in comic relief. And it's, like, it's a trope that people sit on way too much.
It is, and it's one of those where, for this movie, if they would have let him, like, had them fuse correctly, maybe even have them, like, power up to Super Saiyan 3, because it's been 20 fucking years since anybody has seen that happen in something new.
Mm-hmm.
Because you figure they weren't in the other 2 movies, they're very minor side characters through all of Super. Like, they're never part of any of the fights.
Yeah.
So it's like, cool, like, let these slightly older Goten and Trunks, because they actually look like teenagers now. They don't look like they're 7 and 8 still. let them fuse, let them take a shot at the villain, and still get beat back. And then that makes Gohan and Piccolo powering up that much more, like, impactful. Mm-hmm. But instead, it's like, oh, nope, they're just comic relief.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha, the goofy kids got fat and then thought they could still do stuff.
But that's the thing, like, their power is still combined. They should still be able to do stuff. It should be funny that they're being competent a little bit, but, like, they should still be able to fight.
But the problem is, so the imperfect fusions actually don't give them the same multipliers. So, like, they couldn't transform into Super Saiyan either. Like, they tried, and it just failed, because I think it's like they lose control of, like, their ki or something like that when the fusion's incorrect. Because, like, it happened to them as kids, it happened to Goku and Vegeta in Broly, but they at least didn't do the thing in Broly where they'd fuse wrong, and then they'd go fight anyway, the way Goten and Trunks kept doing it in the Buu Saga. They'd fuse wrong, they'd wait until the fusion ended, and then try again, and then when they finally got it right is when they went back to fight Broly. But yeah, like, it was a lot of stuff like that, and, like, the fights were still cool, like, it was neat seeing, like, the characters, like, do stuff again, but just, like, as a whole, it was not as good as the previous movies.
Yeah.
I do have, it's a post-credit spoiler. And I know I've kind of talked a bunch of, like, spoilers here and there, but the best part of the movie was the post-credit scene. Vegeta won.
Vegeta won?
Vegeta beat Goku in their match.
What?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, Vegeta is a born trained fighter. Goku is just strong.
Goku's a trained fighter also.
He wasn't trained on Planet Vegeta by other Saiyans. He was just trained, like, I mean, he's trained by Master fucking Roshi, like.
Yeah, but neither was Vegeta. Like, Planet Vegeta was destroyed while Vegeta was a very small child still.
But he was still, like, he was trained somehow from other Saiyans. Like, that's why.
He was trained by the Frieza Force.
Yeah.
Which, like, yes, like, he has different training, but that is the reason why they always give that, Vegeta will never, get Ultra Instinct. Because Vegeta does not have the personality to let his body move on its own. He's a tactician. He has to think about each move and, like, plan, like, 4 steps ahead. Yeah. Whereas Goku is totally fine with just kind of, like, going with the flow and seeing what happens.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, in this match where, like, it was just punches and kicks, like, no blasts, like, nothing fancy, no transformations, Vegeta finally won.
Yeah, I totally makes sense, in my opinion. Like, totally makes sense that Vegeta is a better fighter than Goku.
Yeah. And to be fair, Goku, and, like, Vegeta has never lost to Goku. Mm-hmm. Like, there's never been a decisive loss. Been a lot of, like, draws. Never a decisive loss.
Yeah.
But, Toriyama hates Vegeta.
Then why does he let him live? Like,
because he's a fan favorite character. And so, like, a lot of manga, creators, their editors have a little bit of sway over what they can and can't do. Mm-hmm. Like, if Toriyama in the 90s turned in, like, a draft that, like, was going to kill off Vegeta after he had proved to be a very popular character, his editors would have spent a lot of time dissuading him of that idea.
Yeah.
But that's basically why, like, Vegeta is always kind of the butt of the joke when it comes to fights. Like, look at Resurrection F. There's no reason that Vegeta shouldn't have been able to be the one to beat Frieza, but they found a reason to make Goku deliver the final blow anyway.
Yeah, it was BS, but it also, like, it worked really well with his personality. Like, he was overly zealous and took too long while Frieza was, like, powering up his move or whatever. I can't fully remember how.
Frieza did the Frieza, and when he saw he was losing, he just blew up the planet.
Yeah.
But so they did in the manga, the arc after the Tournament of Power, Vegeta gets actually more powerful than Goku for a brief time. Mm-hmm. Like, he goes to the same planet that taught Goku instant transmission. And he learns instant transmission, but he never actually perfects it. Like, he manages to pull it off once, and that is to get himself back to Earth. But he learns a different move that actually, I I forget exactly what it does, but it basically drains your opponent of all of their power.
Okay.
Like every time the person throws a punch, he drains power from it until like they become weaker. And even with that, like Goku had to be the one to deliver the final blow to the enemy. Like Vegeta took the person down, and then Goku had to finish the fight. That's stupid. So I'm glad he finally actually got to win one. He deserved it. He's put up with a lot of bullshit over the last 40 years. But yeah, otherwise, like the movie, I would never go see this in the theater again. Whereas like I'd probably actually watch any of the Dragon Ball movies in the theater. I would never go see this one again. Yeah.
I mean, that sounds rough. Like, I knew it was going to be a little hokey when it was called Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Like, I had a feeling it was just going to be very catchy or whatever, and not really all that great and like stuff, but
I enjoyed them. Like, the two androids that were the superheroes, they were actually kind of fun and cool. Mm-hmm. And, like, the Dr. Giro's grandson, weird, but, like, not bad. It was just, like, the characterizations of the characters that you know and care about just felt off, and the animation looked bad.
Yeah.
So it kind of, like, ruined a lot of beats of the movie. It's like, but this isn't how they've ever acted before. Like, why are they behaving this way?
Yeah.
Piccolo would have never summoned the dragon to ask for more power.
No, he wouldn't have. He would have trained and he would have gotten more power. He would have found a way to get more power and not just be like, dragon, give me more power. Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I don't know. It was a movie, and that was about it.
Yeah, yeah.
But, so you watched another thing that was, you know, a thing, and that's about it, with the Resident Evil Netflix show.
Yeah, so it was, it's interesting. I'm hearing a lot of people say it's bad, it's not really good. I think it's fine. I don't think it's amazing, I don't think it's the greatest thing ever, but it is a passable, entertaining show. If that makes sense. Like, it's not a must-watch, it's not something that, like, is, like, really, like, amazing. It's not gonna Game of Thrones it or anything like that. But it is certainly a decent watch. If you have nothing else to watch, if you're trying to find something to watch, it is a decent watch.
Dude, it's got... I realize, like, we don't, like... You don't put a lot of stock into this, and neither do I. IMDb, this series, has a 3.9 out of 10.
That's whatever.
Which seems aggressively bad.
What are the, like, that's the thing, like, what are people hating on it? And I probably can tell you what people are hating on. Somebody even told me they didn't like it because of how much they changed the Resident Evil story. Like...
And, like, that is probably, like, a lot of people are probably like, oh, well, they don't know the games at all, and we're basing it off of the movies, or they thought this was going to be based on the games, and in both cases, like, it's its own thing.
Or they're fucking racist and hate that Albert Wesker's a black guy.
Like, see, like, the only part of that show that actually interested me was the fact that, like, it had Lance Reddick in it. 'Cause, like,
Lance Reddick is an amazing actor, and that's one of the main reasons why I did want to watch it. Is because he was a lead character in it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else, like, of note in the series.
Not really, no.
And, like, I don't... The little bit of trailers I saw and the little bit I've heard about it, like, it doesn't sound like I would enjoy it. But I'm just like, but it's Lance Reddick. Like, it can't be that bad, right?
It's not. It's not bad. It, like I said, it's a passable, entertaining show. It's not like it's not an amazing thing. It's not something that you need to go out your way to watch. It's not gonna, like, blow it away. I would be shocked if it got a second season because it's Netflix, and if doesn't get Stranger Things numbers, they're not gonna advance it. But, like, it worked for what they built and what they put together. It worked. And so the basic idea is it takes place across two timelines, 2022 and 2036. 2022 is 20 plus years, or close to 20 years, 98, 08, 18, yeah, over 20 years after Raccoon City. So that still took place in 1998. All of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 still happened, kind of.
In the span of, like, a week?
Yeah, kind of. Like, they don't really go too far into it, but there was an incident in Raccoon City. There was an explosion in Raccoon City. And there was a cover-up from Umbrella about something in Raccoon City. So they don't get into that. They don't talk about that at all. Except for, like, a few hints of, did you hear what happened in Raccoon City? Do you know what happened in Old Raccoon City? A few times from certain characters. But that's about it. they even reference COVID in this, which was pretty interesting to me. That a world ran by Umbrella, basically ran by Umbrella, they didn't get a COVID vaccine a lot sooner or handle COVID a lot better in this world. Like, I could have actually 100% been done without the COVID references. It's like 2 or 3 times, like, oh, she's sick. Does she have to quarantine like COVID? It's like, come on, you don't have to say that. Like, you don't have to. We all know what quarantining. There's like a couple of instances like that where I'm just like, you really gotta say like COVID. It's just, it was dumb and not really needed, but it didn't take anything away or didn't help anything. It was just a stupid throwaway line. But so the 2022 takes place in New Raccoon City in South Africa. They moved Raccoon City from wherever it was in the United States to South Africa.
Okay.
And Umbrella is now is still a pharmaceutical company. They're working on an antidepressant named Joy that uses very small amounts of the T virus to help people's mental states. Lance Reddick is playing Albert Wesker, who is a lead scientist in creating and developing Joy. He's worried about Joy because if you overdose on it, you can turn into a zombie. But, like, the overdose is, like, millions of pills. It's not easy to overdose to turn into a zombie. But he has 2 daughters that were, they're twins from separate mothers. So they were surrogates that gave birth on the same day to the 2 girls of Albert Wesker. It was weird, but like, so they call themselves twins. They're technically not twins, but they are twins. And they're Wesker's daughters, and things happen from there. The one daughter has like anxiety and rage issues. The other daughter is just not happy to be in New Raccoon City and not happy to have been moved over there and such. She acts out, the other one just wants to fit in, and then it all, there's a whole, interpersonal dynamic. The 2032 stuff follows the one daughter, Jade, who's the one who wasn't happy to be in New Raccoon City, as she's studying, what they call the Zeros, the basic zombies, after the world has had the outbreak of the T-virus. And it went way out of control. And
okay.
So she's studying the zombies, and so she's out in the field. You find out she has a wife and a husband and a daughter. She works for this corporation known as the University. There's several others. There's the University, there's the Brotherhood, there's Umbrella. There's sects of people throughout the world, and she's in Europe or maybe London area, something like that. I'm not too sure. Alls I know is it's somewhere UK because it was the Underground was their subway system. And her thing is she's studying the zombies. Something happens to her camp. She gets kidnapped from a group of people who want to bring her back to Umbrella. And, she has to find her way back to her family. And it just goes from there where the story expands and it references some Resident Evil ideas I believe her name was Lisa from Resident Evil 1, where she was the unkillable thing that was chained up. No matter how much you shot her, you couldn't kill her, and the whole idea of her fight was knocking her off the ledge or something.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. There are lickers, there are giant spiders, there's the zombies, there's a Cerberus, and then they have a whole reveal about Albert Wesker and who he is. And I could get in, I'll get into spoilers, because who knows if you're gonna watch it, but sometime in the 2000s, Albert Wesker, the one that we technically more so know, the awesome, special agent Albert Wesker, he knew he was special, he knew he had the T-virus in him and everything. He cloned himself into several other Weskers, and used
Of course
them,
he did.
yeah, used them to study the T-virus and stuff and help him create an army and whatnot. And at some time in 2008, he's getting tracked by Umbrella. He ends up killing one of the other 2 Albert Wesker clones. Lanceratic we follow, the Wesker we follow, is another one of the clones. And then there's a third one that you actually do meet later on in the series. And, so there's, at times, the daughters find videos. It's like, why were you, what did you do to these people? And Dad's like, it's not me. And it's kind of all over the place, but the storytelling, the way they do the current and past stuff works really well. The actresses that they pick for both the daughters in 2022 as well as their likenesses in 2036 are really well casted. Like literally they're like almost doppelgangers of each other. They could be sisters.
Well, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, like they did a really good job at casting. Like I said, there's just a bunch of different Resident Evil references peppered throughout. It's an interesting story. It's a different take on the Resident Evil series and storyline that, like, is something that we may never really see in the games, because I think Resident Evil 8 has brought it to current day now at this point. Like, I believe Resident Evil 6 moved it up to, like, 2010s, and then 7 was, like, 2015, and 8 is maybe 2016 or 17. I can't 100% remember.
It's definitely close to, like, present day.
Yeah, it's no longer 1998 anymore like it was for 4 games.
Well, I think by Resident Evil 4, doesn't that actually bump it up close?
I think Resident Evil 4 was like 2002. It wasn't too long after Resident Evil 3 and 2.
So it's 2004.
2004.
Which I think is the year before it comes out.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure it came out in 05.
So Resident Evil 0, 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica all take place within, like, 6 months of each other.
Yeah, and then there's a 6-year gap or so between those and 4. And then, I don't know about 5, because 5 was kind of a weird one too, because it's very separate from the rest, because you're on that, like, 2009. So it takes place in the year that it actually released.
Yeah. So the whole story is interesting. It's a different take. It gets a little wild and weird and crazy. And I like the concepts and the ideas. I just, like, the writing was a little off. Like, it's not, even going into it, like, even now, like, knowing the bads, like, there's not a lot of bad to say about it, but there's nothing that really super stands out, which is where it brings the score down, if that makes sense. Like, there's nothing that super shines about the show. It's just, it was a decent show. It was fine to watch. It wasn't too terrible. The freaking, there was a whole end sequence with a giant alligator, because they're making a lot of references to Resident Evil. Like, where it left off, I'm super interested in where it's going. And like how they went from 2022 to 2036 and how all that built out. Like, I hope they do get another season, but I don't think they're going to, based on reviews and how Netflix isn't really willing to try to make something better. It's just like, it's either good or it's not, and if it's not, we're not doing anything.
Yeah, that is unfortunately probably true.
Yeah. But, like, all the actors, all the actresses, everyone in it is really good. And then one thing that I really like is there's a character in the 2036 time frame. I can't remember his name. He's Scottish, I believe. He's a chunky white dude who's actually competent and, like, is badass and is, like, able to hold off, like, zombies and whatnot and able to do things. Like, it's the exact opposite of what Dragon Ball did with Fat Gotenks. Like, he's a cool character. Like, he's a bad guy, quote, a bad guy. He works for Umbrella, but, like, he's a cool character and he knows what he's doing and he knows how to do things and he takes command of the scenes and he was a really good actor and really good character. And I was just like, that's how you do stuff right. You don't lean on this guy just to be funny. You actually do it right. And it all worked. It just wasn't groundbreaking. And that's what everyone looks for in shows anymore. It's just groundbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Like, if it's not, like, the next big thing, people are like, eh.
Yeah, exactly. If it's not Game of Thrones, people are just gonna bypass it. If it's not, like I said, Stranger Things, if it's not, I don't know, Breaking Bad, if it's not Walking Dead, if it's not like hits right away, people are just gonna walk away. And like, look, I get it. There's only so much time in the world. I'm not saying everyone has to love it. I'm not saying everyone has to see it, but I think it was worthwhile to watch and not be overly critical. Like, I feel like you said, what was it, like 3.9 or something like that?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of those negative reviews might be being too harsh on it because it's not one thing or the other. It's not from the movies with Mila Jovovich. It's not from the games that we know, and it's not related to the movie that we just got last year. Like, it's its own thing. It's its own personality in Resident Evil that has a similar base storyline of what we already know.
Right. Yeah, and you're probably right. Like, I have seen people that I've seen people talk about it, and it's not so much that it's not what they wanted because it's not close enough to the games or all. Like, some people were just like, hey, this was bad. Like, I didn't like it. And, like, everyone's entitled to that. If they don't like something, they don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't have to like everything. You don't have, and if somebody doesn't like something that you like, that's fine. Don't make them like it. Don't make them not like it. It is what it is. But everyone's entitled to their opinion, and this series, I really think, because people get those negative reviews so quick, they're too quick to judge on their own. And so instead of going to watch it and saying, hey, this was actually not bad, they're just going to be like, all right, well, these people are saying it's bad. And this is also why I fucking hate reviews. Why I don't want to prescribe numbers of things. Why I don't want to say how good or bad things are. I just want to say what I thought of it. Because you watch this shit and play the shit yourself before you tell me how good or bad it is.
Yeah, so I agree. Like, if it's like a show that you can watch on like a thing that you have, like, yeah, at least watch an episode and see like what you think. If it comes to like a game or something like that, that's a little different. Cause like $70 to like see if something is good. Like, I understand where reviews have a usefulness there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cause like Sonic Frontiers, for instance, everything I've seen, which hasn't been a ton about that game, looks bad. Like, the game just actually looks bad. Like, they took everything that would make a Sonic game fun and forgot to put it into that game. But like, maybe that's just what they're showing off because they're trying to show off the new stuff, and Sega's stupid and doesn't understand that that's not what anybody wants. Yeah. When it comes to review time, maybe it reviews really well because 90% of the game is actually the shit people want from a Sonic game.
Yeah, like, it took them a while before they even like showed off some like the rail sequences. Not like riding on the rails, like the literal like you're on a highway type shit. Like, there's like actual high speed stuff that's not open world shit. That, like, it took them forever to show that off. And it's like, this is a lot of what people want, and you're not giving it to us. But it's like, oh, it's there. You wanted to show off this open world that looks fine. And disconnected because there's fucking rails all over the place floating in the air. Makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff from Opening Night Live at Gamescom?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch a lot of it or much of it. I did go through an article to see what was on there, probably the same one that you have keyed or linked in. I'm just excited that we finally got a release date for Dead Island 2.
Yeah, hopefully that game's not garbage because it's been in development for like a decade.
I have a feeling it hasn't actually been in development for a decade. I have a feeling they announced it when they did, and then they kind of stopped working on it for a while and then picked it back up again. I don't think it's legitimately been being worked on for forever. I think there was just, yes, some sort of developmental hell where they stopped working on it at some point.
Well, it is a different developer than who did the first one.
Yeah.
Because Techland did because Techland did the first one, and then I believe they did Dying Light after that. Like, I think they started to work on a potential sequel and then transitioned, and then like that sequel became Dying Light, and then I'm actually looking at the announced in 2014, the game undergone difficult period of development. Yeah, so it was Jaeger Development was originally hired to make the game in 2012, so shortly after the first one came out. But they were removed from it in 2015 and replaced by Sumo Digital the following year. And then Sumo Digital got removed, and this Dam Buster studio, which is an internal Deep Silver studio, took over in 2019. So, like, this game has been in active development since, like, 2012. It's probably been torn down and built back up from near scratch.
Yeah. Because...
Like, honestly, I mean, you probably remember the E3 trailer from, like, I think that might have been 2014 or 15.
Yeah.
Like the guy running on the beach and whatnot, or the street next to the beach. I bet that whole bit is not even, like, remotely part of this game anymore, because it's been through so many hands since then.
Oh yeah, no, not at all. You're right.
So I never played the first one. Is it like a zombie survival game, or is it like a asynchronous multiplayer?
It's a zombie game. It's not an asynchronous multiplayer.
Okay, so it's probably similar to Dying Light then.
Yeah, it's a story-driven multiplayer game. That, like, there's crafting involved. You have to craft, like, you can craft your weapons and things. Like, minimal crafting, not like 7 Days to Die crafting or whatever. It's like, you can, like, put together and enhance your weapon and things like that. I believe, like, each character is, like, pseudo-classed in some way, shape, or form. Some are better with guns, some are better with knives, whatever. It's been forever, because I played it back when it originally came out. Or like a year or two after, like, the first one originally came out. And it was always fun. It was always good. I didn't hate what I played. The scenery was always beautiful. Like, the concept, the idea behind, like, people on vacation and the zombie apocalypse happens is like, alright, that's a really cool concept and neat idea. Because then it's like, you got the zombies running around in fucking Hawaiian shirts, because it's funny. And I don't recall how much humor there was, but, like, I'm sure there was humor, and it was... Like, it was made to be silly. It wasn't made to be serious. And, like, it worked. I never actually got to beat it. There was a whole section of the game into, like, a hidden lab and whatnot that I never got into. But I don't know why. I think I was playing it with someone, and we never got around to getting the last couple of levels.
Which, happens, especially with games like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they did that. That actually got announced last week, but not, like, I think it might have been, like, a leaked announcement.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe they talked about it a little bit more during Opening Night Live.
Yeah.
But we also got The Lies of P, which is a Soulsborne game starring Pinocchio.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Which just seems like it could be...
Oh, man.
Bless you.
Waiting for that sneeze for, like, the last 20 minutes.
But yeah, the Lies of P actually looks like it could be a very interesting game.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of a trailer of it. I was doing a bunch of other things while I was watching it. It looked interesting. It looked decent. Like, I'm always down for a more difficult, like, skill style game to play. So, like, I will, when it goes on sale, probably get it and try it.
Yeah, for me, it's more of one of those, like, I think it sounds neat, but I'll probably never play it because, of the style of game.
Yeah.
And then they also showed off that the Subnautica developer, Unknown Worlds, announced this game called Moonbreaker. That the game is being written by Brandon Sanderson, which is super cool, and it's like a Warhammer 40K style gameplay. But it looks like StarCraft according to things.
Yeah, it is. It's the gameplay. It's like it's a tabletop strategy game that it's a tabletop strategy video game. And you apparently you actually have to paint your miniatures and things like that. Like, you customize and paint and set up your miniatures yourself as you go into playing. Like, it looks interesting. I probably won't get it because I'm afraid of something like this. The developers of Subnautica, like Subnautica and Subnautica, Frozen Tundra or whatever, I don't know what it's called. They're really good games, but I'm afraid of something like this might be, especially if they try to actually turn it into more of like an open access type of game where like, oh, it is just Warhammer, there's not an actual story, and it's just a card game, video game basically type thing. I'm afraid of like how, microtransaction-y this thing.
Yeah, and that's always like a fear with stuff like that. Though, speaking of microtransactions, did you see that you'll be able to invest in microtransactions for your DualShock controller soon?
No.
So Sony finally revealed their version of the Pro controller. It's the DualSense Edge, and it's going to have like some of the modular stuff that the Xbox Pro controller has. But apparently, you're going to have to actually buy a lot of the pieces separately.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas, like, when you buy the Pro controller or the Elite controller, I'm sorry, I keep calling it the Pro. When you buy the Elite, I believe it comes with, like, the different, like, D-pads and the different size thumbsticks that you can put in and stuff like that. This one, you're going to actually have to buy, like, the different size thumbsticks for it. If they're not just going to come with it. And, like, it's still a DualSense, so it's probably going to be a pretty fucking expensive controller, because it's going to still have all of the DualSense features. It's neat, though. Like, it's cool that, like, Sony is finally doing that stuff. It's just more of a, like, well, why not just, like, you know, put it all in the box so people can just, like, so people can, like, basically try things out.
Yeah, I guess that's really, that's the Pro controller thing. Like, if you're gonna get the Pro controller, you're a pro, and you're gonna want to put down the money to get the thing that you want, and so you get the customization. It's PC shit. Like, if I want to be able to fully customize my, if I want to get a mechanical keyboard and fully customize it and everything, you have to buy the keys, the switches, the base, and the this, and then that, all separately, and then put it all together. So that's the kitting for the Pro shit. And it's dumb. Just give me my, if I want a mechanical keyboard and I want to put it together, put the switches, the keys, and the base all fucking together. And I'll set it up like that.
Yeah, I agree. But other than that, they showed off, like, there was a new Hogwarts Legacy trailer. We got a title and a date for the Tales from the Borderlands sequel-ish.
Yeah.
It's going to be called New Tales from the Borderlands, very original. Yeah. And it's coming out in October.
Nice, that's pretty sweet. There was a game revealed called, Phantom Hellcat. It's like this, action hack and slash type thing that looked pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think, was that a reveal, or was that just hey, we're going to show more for it?
I believe it was a reveal. So GameRanks actually had their top 10 reveals of day one, and that was part of it. So I'm guessing that was actually a reveal.
Yeah, it does look like the IGN article actually does say it was a reveal too. For some reason, like the title and like the logo for it looked familiar.
Mm-hmm. And then we also got a little teaser for Word Song, which is like a new RPG from people, not from Bethesda, but from people who worked for Bethesda, who worked on Fallout and Skyrim, and stuff like that. Like, it was like from a developer who worked on a bunch of different games.
Yeah, I mean, just like, so there was that one, and then there's also the Everywhere, which is from the ex-Rockstar developers.
Yeah, Everywhere. And then we would be dumb if we didn't mention, there's gonna be a new asymmetric multiplayer game coming out, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I was gonna mention that game. I hadn't seen the trailer. I didn't know it was asymmetric multiplayer.
Yeah, I believe that's what I heard it is. It's like an asymmetric multiplayer type.
That's actually, huh.
Hold on,
I'm a little intrigued now.
It's from the people 3v7 asymmetric multiplayer game. Put a team of humans versus a team of alien clowns. It's from the lead who was director for the Friday the 13th game.
Okay, and like people really liked that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting though. And then I don't know if you actually caught this one. Gotham Knights apparently got moved up a little bit.
Yeah, we're getting it in November now, right?
October, yeah. The other one is still, the Rocksteady game is still, like, who knows when.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, like, this is one where it's, like, I like the idea of having those characters to play as, but, like, from what I've seen so far, like, I don't know if I'm gonna like the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I'm interested in it, but there's so much I want to play now. Friggin' Game Pass just got, Death Stranding on it, and is getting Immortal Phoenix Rising on it, so I'm just like, shit! There's new things that I need to play now and catch up on. So, like, yeah, it's trying to catch up even for some of these new games. It's going to be one.
Yeah, and I mean, you've also got your new favorite podcast that you're going to have to find time to listen to.
Yeah, I know how this is going to sound. I'm going to say it anyway. I know how this is going to sound. I don't think I'm going to be able to listen to it.
Why?
Because it's going to be, unless it's somebody, unless there's a translator speaking over, it's going to be Hideo Kojima speaking in English. And I don't think his English is all that great. And when I listen to podcasts, I can't focus to like actually catch what somebody whose natural or whose native language isn't English. I won't be able to listen to that while I'm working.
So it is going to have a translator.
Okay, so it's going to be a translator saying whatever Kojima says.
Because there's no way he is recording the same podcast twice.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be in English and Japanese. Mm-hmm. And he does not speak fluent in English. Like, that's why in almost every interview and stuff he does, there is a translator.
Okay.
Because, like, even think back to when they announced his partnership with Sony, back when Andrew House was still the president. Andrew House was the translator. Like, yeah. He spoke in Japanese to Kojima and then translated what Kojima said back in English.
Yeah, but then it's the other thing is like, now I'm not listening to a Hideo Kojima, and I'm not listening to Hideo Kojima talk. I'm listening to a translator talk for Hideo Kojima, and it's just like, it's a whole, like, I don't know. It's cool. It's a neat concept. It's a neat thing. Like, I don't really know what it's gonna be about. It's called Brain Structure. And I don't really know anything else about it. I don't really know if they actually said what it's going to be about.
So he's going to be speaking with guests from various fields. Mm-hmm. And will it, so here's the best part. It will include a regular industry news feature hosted by Jeff Keighley.
Okay.
So every episode will have like a little news break with Keighley.
Okay, that's neat.
But yeah, like, I will also probably never listen to that regularly, but I think it's actually very funny that Kojima is doing a podcast.
Yeah. I don't know. I might give it a shot. I might listen to it. Knowing that it's going to be a translator, I'm more inclined to listen to it. Starts September 8th, so as long as it's available everywhere, I'll give it a shot. Like, I'm caught up. I don't have that many podcasts I listen to. So it's,
yeah, I have too many.
I could add more. Well, you don't listen to half of them anyway, so.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. Erica actually told me to tell you to listen to a show called, damn it, The Midnight Library.
Never heard of it.
It's apparently like a, like story driven podcast. Like I don't know if it's necessarily narrative, but like they tell like seasonal stories. Like they'll do like a season of like 9 to 12 episodes.
Yeah.
And then they'll take like a break and then they'll come back and it's like acted and stuff like that. Like some of the stuff you listened to before. So like it's like edited and acted and it's not just like a person talking the way most podcasts like this one is.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, she said you might like it. Just because you like some of those other like more narrative-y, like story-based ones. She
knows she could text me and tell me what to listen to. Like, I'm not going to listen to it until she texts me and tell me to listen to it.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Then I'm never listening to it.
Good. You don't have to. I was just simply giving you the suggestion.
Good. But yeah, anything else from Gamescom Day 1? Like,
I mean, we got a Sonic Frontiers release date. That's what actually made me use that as an example earlier. But no, not really. There were a lot of games that actually look like they could be interesting, but they're like reveals. So it's going to be a while before they're out and before we know anything else really about them.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, GameRanks had like a top 10 new reveals. Like, go check. Like, they posted that video. We're recording on Wednesday. The 24th. They posted that like 5 o'clock on Wednesday, the 24th. You can check that video out. It shows some things. There's also, and this is like a minor reveal. None of us really played it, but I wanted to. Moving Out 2 is coming out. So
I did see that.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk a little bit about Tunic?
Yeah, let's get into Tunic. I believe we have in the past talked a little bit about Tunic. I don't know how much.
I played like 2 hours of it. I did not get very far, but I talked about it then. And that was right after it came out.
And I think Drew talked about it too a bit. I think Drew played it. So I'm not going to get like too far into the nitty gritty details, but it's been a game that's been on my list. And I asked people on my Discord what they wanted to see me play next. And that ended up being one of 3 that had 1 votes. So, since it was shorter, I decided to play that first. It is a solid game. It is really fun. I like the art style. I like how calm and like peaceful the music and the world and everything is. And I love the exploration style of this game. I really do. And how pretty much the main reason of the game is to find all the book pages. So, like, game mechanics wise, the book pages are the instruction booklet to the game. Which
I thought was actually really cool too.
It's really cool. I think the book pages are some other kind of book in the actual game. But for the game mechanics of finding the book pages, it's the instruction booklet. Hold on, I have freaking hair in my mouth. Whatever. So you run around, you go around trying to find these booklets, these pages that are in an uncommon language, as well as in English. Some pages are split between an uncommon language, an unknown language, and some pages are English. And you kind of have to piece together puzzles by finding these pages and seeing what they're like trying to hint at or tell you. And it's Zelda-esque explore style where you go all over the place trying to find different things and trying to uncover secrets of the world, trying to find the 3 keys so that you can unlock the air. And I don't really know why you're trying to unlock the air, because honestly,
because why not?
Well, no, the thing is, the reason I don't know why you're trying to unlock the air is because it's all in an unknown language. 90% of the game, 95% of the game is in an unknown language.
Which I also thought was actually pretty cool.
It's really cool because it also adds to the mystery, but it also adds to like the difficulty level of trying to figure out what to do next, where to go. So I, over the course of 3 sessions, and I played it all on streams, over the course of those 3 sessions, I made it from beginning towards the end. And when I started playing yesterday, I, maybe after about an hour to 2 hours, I could have gone and beat the game. Or could have gone and fought the final boss. But instead, it uncovered more things to do. And one of my viewers put it really well. This game does a good job of telling you this has been here the whole time. And you could have done this the entire time. Because there is a lot of puzzles. And the puzzle solving is like, you're looking at the ground, you're looking at something, and it's a button combination on your D-pad. Those are all the all the puzzles are trying to figure out what it is the button combination they're trying to get you to hit on the D-pad. And that could be anywhere between 5 button combinations of up, down, left, and right, to the longest one, if I recall properly, is 31 presses.
Wow.
Yeah. 31 presses of up, down, left, and or right. And that is, so as I was getting into it, I was like, all right, I went into it, I was like, this is going to be the finale of the game, I'm going to beat it tonight. And I ended up streaming for about 5-ish hours, trying to get through the end. And once I learned and uncovered these puzzles, that's where I was like, all right, well now I got to go do all these puzzles. And like, you get a little spell, which you do a button combination, cast a spell, and it takes you to the closest puzzle near you. So a bunch of them are on the overworld, and then the rest are in like the different other locations in the maps that you went through.
Okay.
And so the 30, after a while, I was like, I'm getting to some of these, I'm figuring them out, and I'm trying to do them myself without having to look them up. But then after a while, it was more of, they're in locations that I don't know where they're at because it's not in a common language. It's in this unknown language. So instead of having to struggle to try to figure out where they are and whatnot, I ended up pulling up a guide just so I could know where they were. And then I would go to it and I would try to figure it out myself. I wouldn't use the guide to solve it until I knew what it was trying to tell me and I kept getting it wrong. Then it's like, all right, well, what am I missing? Because it was always I would miss 1 or 2 button presses somewhere in the middle. And like, that's where, like, I sent you guys, my picture of my notes.
Yeah.
From yesterday. And it's just it's like URLD, like, just like constant strings of trying to figure it out. And some of these are really straightforward, and you go up to a wall and there's like lines on the wall with 2 circles at the bottom, and you pick one side and you put in the combination of going to each corner, and that's your button presses. Some of them are really straightforward. Some of them, there's flowers on the ground and you got to get from one specific flower to the rest of them. And that's fine. And then there was one where you walk into this cave and a light is shining on the wall and it is rotating in a clockwise position. And it shows you the start point, but then it eventually the start point disappears, and you have to keep track of what the button press would be based on the orientation of how it would be looking at that time. So as it's spinning, you're like, all right, well, this is a left. Well, this is now an up or a right or what, like, as it's spinning around, because it goes around in a circle. I looked at it for like 5 minutes trying to piece it together, trying to write it down. And like, I had people on there who had played the game before, and they're like, some of these are really tough. And I'm like, look, if you guys don't mind that I ask for hints, or if I ask for the solve, like, I'm not looking for the solve unless I can figure out the hint first. So if you guys don't mind giving me the solve once I know what I'm trying to do, go for it when I ask for the solve. And so like, they would give me the button combination, or eventually they left and I looked it up on my phone. And it can get wild. Like the first one that I solved, or that I had my viewers help me with, there was 4 of these lines drawn on this room, but different portions of it are covered up. And it's also like, they're mirrored. So you have them next to each other, but all of the inputs are opposite. So if you're going based on the leftmost one, or based on the symbol on the right, when you're looking on the symbol on the left to figure out the combination, you have to remember to reverse that, because they're mirrored, if that makes sense. So like, say you have like think about it this way, like you're looking at like 2 C's looking at each other, but the openings are facing each other. One, you would be going to the left, one, you would be going to the right. You have to reverse that to make sure you're getting the combination right. That instead of you hitting a right instead of a left, you're hitting a left. Like, it could get confusing, it can get wild and weird. But like, it was like some of the coolest puzzles I've ever had to try to solve.
Yeah, the little bit I played, like, it was really interesting, like,
you
how a lot of that stuff worked. And, like, I was very early.
You didn't even get to the puzzles. Like, they're there. You can do them as soon as you start. But you didn't even get to the puzzles.
I had to do some puzzles.
No, not these puzzles.
No, not those. I just meant in general.
No, as far as I can remember, like, you're still doing Zelda shit. You're still running around, like, at like 2-3 hours into the game, you're running around collecting items and fighting enemies. There's no real, like, puzzle solving. It's just
like, I was doing
around.
stuff. I was doing stuff with like tuning forks.
The tuning forks don't do anything.
I thought they did.
I mean, you can hit them and they make a chime, but like, I've never been able to figure out anything to do with those. Like,
I mean, this was also like 6 months ago that I played it.
So the tuning forks, as far as I know, are really only there for when you get the magic orb, which is the hook shot, and you can get up to places. Because eventually, when you reach a point, moving around the map, especially at night, is more difficult because there's tears in the world and things like that, that you can't go to the same path, or through the same paths. So the tuning forks are really just going, like, are there for the magic orb. There might be other things for them. I couldn't figure that out.
Yeah, I could have sworn I did something. Maybe it was the tuning forks that I moved around. Maybe it was something else.
But like, for the most part, like, there's no like blocks to move or anything. There's no, you're probably in the western temple area or whatever. I can't even remember what it's called.
I went onto, like, so I went east first, and I eventually found the sword. Yeah. And then I went to the far west.
Yeah. So I know exactly where you are, because that's, like, that is where you come across, like, your first boss, sort of, that gives you the lantern, I believe, or something. You come across a boss that gives you something that you then go and you ring the bell, and then you can get access into the into the church or into the cathedral, and then you can move around up there. But then you have to go back to the western area to go to the west cave or what was it called? The vault in the west to fight the next big boss to start to get the keys, to put the keys into the cathedral. And it's a lot of just going and fighting and finding things and putting them where they need to be put at this point in the game.
I fought a boss, but I didn't get anything after it. So it might have just been like a mini boss, but it was not a mini boss, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But also, it was one of those games where, I thought it was really neat, but I will never go back to it.
But yeah, it is so fun. It's really cool, and I have one puzzle left to solve. This is a puzzle that I did not look up the solve for while I was there, and I literally stood there, I think, for 5 to 10 minutes on stream with the hint sheet opened up on the screen, and I had to let the dog out for a bit, and then came back, and I just stayed there and looked at it, trying to piece it together, and it's like some sort of math puzzle, and I'm just like, I don't know what I need to do. I don't know what they're asking for, and this is tough. That I ended up was it was almost 1 o'clock, or it was almost a little after 12 o'clock. I'm like, all right, let's go fight the air. I think I have enough to beat the game. So I go fight the air, and I didn't have enough to beat the game, and this is one of the cool things. It didn't say that I beat the game. It said game over. It said I lost because I didn't get the last page to the book. So it gave me either New Game Plus or try again. So I clicked try again, and I saved, and so now I'm gonna, one of these days, it might be tonight, I might do a special stream tonight, it might be on Sunday. I'm gonna be streaming a little bit earlier on Sunday, because I forgot I had fantasy football draft on Sunday.
What a nerd.
But it might be Sunday at some point that I'm gonna work on, trying to figure out this solve. Because, Sunday's stream is gonna be packed full of, it's gonna be 3 different games I have to play on Sunday. I have to decide to do Tunic as well. But I want to solve that last puzzle and go fight the boss again and get the actual finale. But yeah,
do you know what you're going to play next to fill the Tunic spot?
Hellblade, Susuna's Sacrifice, because that's another shorter game. I think that's about 9 hours, I think I saw.
I've heard that game is also very good. And
yeah.
You wear headphones while you're streaming, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because apparently that game is one of those ones where everyone says, play it with headphones because of the way the audio design is.
Yeah, especially with the sequel coming out soon, and it's going to be available on Game Pass, I believe. I wanted to get that in and play that. And then after that, I said I was going to do Scarlet Nexus, but I might do Death's Door first, because that's another shorter one.
I was actually just about to... I was about to say, if you enjoyed Tunic and you want another game in that vein, to try Death's Door.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do Death's Door for a while. But it seemed I had a little less interest with Death's Door than I did with anything else when I asked my Discord. So we'll see. But it's also now that Immortal Phoenix Rising came out, I've been wanting to play that for forever, and I never got it, and it's now on Game Pass. I want to give Death Stranding a try now that it's on Game Pass. So there's a bunch of games that I want to play. Plus, I might actually try to do a replay of, what's it called? A Plague Tale Requiem, since the new one comes out, day and date on Game Pass as well. So
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I already played the first one on PlayStation, 3 years ago. It was on really good sale the year that it was nominated for Game of the Year. But it was a really good game, and I want to kind of play it again with my viewers. Some of it got a little hokey near the end, but it's fine.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know if you'd like Scarlet Nexus.
I
know you played the demo. I should rephrase that. I don't know if you'd like streaming Scarlet Nexus.
We'll see. I've reworked my streaming schedule to the point of I'm playing primarily one specific game throughout the week besides Thursdays, or one day a week where I play Monster Hunter.
So it's not so much the length of it, it's that game has a lot of peaks and valleys, I guess you'd say. So there's bits where it's very story cutscene heavy, and it's very anime. So wouldn't be super interesting to your viewers necessarily if they haven't been watching it from the beginning. But like kind of important for you to pay attention to because it involves like parts of the game.
Yeah.
And then other parts you're just kind of like, it's running down corridors waiting for like battle arenas to set up. Like, I thought it was neat, but it's like the Wish version of a Platinum game.
Mm. Yeah, I mean,
I think it's Bandai Namco.
I'm not sure. I can't remember, but I think it's like a 20-hour game as well. Like, I expect it to be something like similar to Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like Guardians of the Galaxy had a lot of situations where it was just dialogue heavy and nonstop talking and story, and like during those times, I would like apologize to anybody watching. Like, I'm sorry, this is dialogue heavy. I like my dialogue. I like my story. That's why that's why I play games. So like it's 50-50, but I'm really interested in playing that. There's also eventually I do want to play Tales of Arise, which just looks fantastic. That's also super RPG. So
it's like a 60-hour fucking
yeah. That'll be like when I am done with Monster Hunter for a while. I stream nothing but that. That's what that'll be.
Yeah, I would say if you're going for like the action platformy, like Scarlet Nexus, Astral Chain on the Wii U,
yeah,
and Nier Automata would both be like way better picks.
Astral Chain was a Switch game.
Oh god, I did say the Wii U, didn't I?
Yeah.
Man, that game is not that old.
Astral Chain is on the list, but we're getting Rabbids 2 soon. We're getting Pokemon. Like there's like a lot of what I'm playing now is just placeholders until the new games come out that I am going to get. But like right now, I think the next game I'm going to certainly buy on launch and play on stream as a new game is going to be Pokemon. But I think that's October, right?
It's October or November.
If it's October, I'm not playing it until November. Or at least I'm not playing it until I finish what I'm doing in October. Because in all of October, every stream is going to be Resident Evil. My goal is to beat every Resident Evil through October.
It's November 18th.
Okay,
Pokemon is November 18th.
So I've got time.
So it's in that normal Pokemon window. I feel like they always, other than Arceus, they always come out in that ballpark.
Yeah. So
haven't you played a bunch of them on stream already, or was that pre-you streaming?
That was pre-stream. I played Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2 remaster, and 3 remaster, off of stream, and then I played 7 off of stream as well. But like Humble Bundle, today is the last day to do it. Humble Bundle had all of the Resident Evils available for $30 with a half off coupon for Resident Evil Village. And that was Resident Evil 0 through 7 plus Revelations 1 and 2. All available on Steam if you pay $30 for. And
were these the remakes or like the originals or both?
It was the remakes for 2 and 3. Yeah.
What about 1?
1, it was the HD version or whatever.
Okay, yeah. the GameCube PS2 version.
Yeah. It wasn't like the original. It was whatever version was out on PC, basically. Because I don't think the original version ever came out on PC.
You might be right. I honestly don't know.
But yeah, so those are that's going to be my October, is going to be playing all of those. Because I know most Resident Evil games aren't that long.
No, because they have that whole hey, beat this in under an hour for the best ending or whatever.
Like I think for a normal playthrough, for a first time playthrough type thing, 5 to 7 hours. So if I do nothing but Resident Evil 3 days a week, I should be able to get through 1 to 2 a week.
Don't you stream 4 days a week?
I do, but if I'm gonna stick with Monster Hunter once a week as well, because I probably will, depending on the time. But I also, I might say fuck you to Resident Evil 6 and not play it, because fuck Resident Evil 6.
You gotta do them all.
I know.
But you figure if up until 5 and 6 may be actually the longest, before 7 and 8. But 1 through 4 I think you can do fairly quickly.
Yeah.
At least, definitely 1 through 3, because they do all have those beat it quickly modes. You might be able to do those first 3 since you've done them recently in a stream each, or like 2 streams each.
Yeah, it'd probably be 1 to 2 streams each. Resident Evil 0, like, I'm gonna play them in numerical order, so I'm gonna go 0 through 8.
Why not chronological order?
Because it would be 1, 2, 3, 0.
No, it would be 1, 2, then you'd stop, then you'd play 3, and then you'd go back to 2.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not gonna do like shotgun whatever fucking bullshit. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm going to
machete order for Resident Evil.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna stop midway through a game to play a different game. So it's like, it's gonna be 0 through 8. And I probably won't do the Revelations, because those were the light gun games, I believe.
I was gonna say, weren't they like light gun or something else?
Yeah, and I don't really know how that's gonna work on PC, unless it's just mouse and clicking. And they were just like retellings of the stories or some shit like that, if I remember correctly. So it's not really, continues a series of claimed essential survival horror experience while uncovering startling truths. Yeah, like, it wasn't, I don't really know. I don't know how that's gonna work anyway. Jesus, there's 22 friggin' DLC things for Revelations 2? Why?
Because why not? That's probably gonna do it for this week, though, I think.
Yeah. Play Tunic. Tunic is great. Play Tunic. It's awesome. It's fun. I might do a surprise stream tonight and just try to beat it. I'm kind of tired, so I don't think I will, and it'll probably happen on Sunday, as I have to play a fucking stupid game.
What stupid game?
So I have a redemption on my thing called New Game. It's 10,000 points.
Okay, so somebody gave you a bunch of bits.
No, it's points. They didn't pay me money for this. It's points. It's 10,000 points.
Points, bits, they're all the same.
They're not, because bits are money. But it's called New Game, where it's, I have to buy a game of your choosing, and that will be the next game I play until credits roll. My friggin' mod, one of my mods redeemed it, and there's a stupid game on, I'm glad it's only 99 cents. If it was anything more than that, I would say no, and I wouldn't give him his points back. But it is called Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015.
Oh, I know this. They've played it on like Giant Bomb and stuff before.
Yeah.
It is actually kind of funny.
Yeah, I have zero interest in this. Zero interest. And there's no credits, as far as I can tell. There's no actual game completion. It's all just a score-based game. So, like...
Yeah, it's in the vein of, like, Mount Your Friends.
I don't even know what that is.
That is more of, like, a party game, I guess you'd call it, where, it's like a pass the controller party game. So, there is a goat on the ground, and it's one of those, like, you control the arms and legs independently. So, like, each of the face buttons, I think, is a different limb. And you kind of have to, like, hold a limb and use an analog stick to, like, pull yourself across the thing and then climb up a tower of bodies. Mm-hmm. And if you fall, you lose. And then you're out, and, like, the next person comes in, and you just keep... It's like reverse Jenga, where you're just piling bodies on top of each other. It's very fun to watch, like, a group of people play it.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so, like, this game... It's 99 cents. You put the 10,000 points in, so I have to do it. So, like, I was like, all right, Sunday we'll play that. And I'm like, all week, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna play this game for a half hour and say I'm over it. I don't think I'm going to want to put more than 20 minutes into this. So, he wasted his 10,000 points because it literally says until credits roll. But he's one of those people who don't read things. And so... That's on him. He could have gotten me to play something else.
Yeah, which not your fault. Or not. Yeah, not your fault. Now,
no.
Like, so this thing, it's any game.
Any game that I can easily purchase or play after purchasing it. You have to give me a couple of weeks in case it's like a full price game or whatever. And it's no MMOs. And shit like that. Like, it has to have, like, not it has to have, like, but, like, there has to be an end, or, like, this one, I'm not going to play it till credits roll, because there's no credits, so I'm only going to play it until I can't stand it anymore.
But, so, like, in that case, like, if I watched your stream enough to get 10,000 points, I could redeem, like, a play Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, 100%.
And then you'd have to spend 100 hours on stream playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, absolutely. That's your choice. If you want to redeem that to make me play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, or if Jordan wants me to play Diablo or whatever, 100%. Like, if you redeem those points, as long as I can find it, like, easily, and you have to give me at least 2 weeks, because I need money to buy the game. You have to give me 2 weeks to be able to buy it, especially if it's a full price game. Once I buy it, that'll be the next game I play once I beat whatever game I'm working on.
Oh, or Dragon Quest.
Sure.
Dragon Quest 11, I think it is. What is it? The one where it's like Echoes of an Elusive Age?
If the credits roll before the additional 20 hours, I don't have to do the 20 hours. The rule is until credits roll.
Oh no, I'm not talking about the definitive edition. Just like the regular edition is still like a 70, 80 hour game.
Yeah, if that's what you want to put me, but like I'll end up like moving shit around. Like if somebody were to redeem an 80-hour game or something like that,
you'd play it like once a week or something.
I would be like, yeah, I would turn around and be like, all right, we're gonna do a special stream every week until we beat this, and so I would add a 5th stream each week to play that game, or something like that, or I would play that twice a week instead of all like 4 times a week, 3 times a week, whatever, and add an extra day, like,
or just redeem it and be like Super Mario Brothers 2, Japan. I
mean, sure, you can, but like that'll be something that like there is an extent to how long I'll play something before I'm just like, I'm done with this. And if it's something extremely difficult, something that I can't get into, if it's Super Mario World again, or if it's Super Mario 2, like, I once I'm done with it, I'm done with it. I'm not going to actually beat it and get it to credits roll.
And so you almost beat Mario World, so that wouldn't be fun. But Mario 2 Japan? Whew.
But there's also another one called Pick My Game, where you can pick any game that I already own and tell me to play that on Sunday.
Yeah, but you don't own anything good.
I own everything available. You were just saying Mario 2. That's on Switch.
That's fair. That is fair.
So save yourself 8,000 points, or 7,500 points or something like that, and just tell me to play that on Sunday. And I'll play it all night Sunday.
Oh yeah, if I were ever going to do that, I mean, it would take forever too, because I don't have any points.
I'm sure you have plenty of points.
No, I used them all during one of your during your one thing. The thing that you did for 24 hours.
The subathon.
Thank you. Those were the words I was looking for. I could not find.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I burned through them all then, because I kept giving you like do laps and stuff like that whenever you looked tired.
Yeah.
Like it was both because it was funny and because like, hey, like you need to get up and move, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, that's what. Then the laps and stuff are still there. I've reorganized some of my point things to get people to do more stuff, and this way to minimize time away from my stream, because I had 2 sets of physical, 4 redemptions of physical activity. 2 things for laps and 2 things for stairs.
You just need some wireless headphones, because your microphone will pick you up across the room. So you just need some good wireless headphones so that you can still interact while you're on the other side of the room.
I can't interact if I can't see the chat.
Well, no, but like you can just sit there and talk.
I mean, that's what I do. And like when I have my laps and stuff, I talk while I'm doing my laps. But like I can't see the chat, so I can't really interact. So like I took away, because I had one thing that was climb the stairs 3 times, and one thing that was climb the stairs once. And I had one thing that was 5 laps around my couch, and another one that was like 2 laps around my couch. People would go 5 laps. I'd get them done. I'd go to sit down. They would redeem the 2 laps. Or they would redeem the 1 stair climb. I'd do that. I'd go to sit down. They would redeem the 2 laps. I'd do that. I would go to sit down. And then they would redeem the 3 stair climbs. And I'm just like, guys, this is not what this was set up for. Like, I understand you're trolling me because you're trolls, but like, it's really hard for me to be interactive when I'm away for 20 minutes walking around, and then by the time I'm done, the laps are already back, and you're gonna set me up with more laps. And like my viewers, there were times that I've actually had to tell them, you're not getting your points back because like I would be done with the gaming and I would be wrapping up, and they would continue to spend points to try to distract me so that I would have to do more stair climbs or more laps. And it'd be like, guys, you redeem whatever you want. I'm not going to do it now because I'm not taking 45 minutes to wrap up the stream. I'm not. I'm done. The stream is over. Let me say goodbye. And so I'm like, you're not getting your points back. You're not. Cause like, they're just like, they're trying to troll me. Some of my friends trying to troll me and be jerks. But yeah.
Which, that's what people do.
That's what people do. Yeah, that's what people do.
But that is going to do it for this week.
Yeah.
Next week we will have our book club on, Ex Machina.
Mm-hmm.
Which should be fun. And then, if you'd like to find any more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the places. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It helps more than you realize. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us emails to social@one-quest.com. Other than that, though, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yous.